Alright, the frost is all over, as they say. It's pretty cold out there. It's pretty cold in here. I still like to come out and work even in the evenings out here, but yeah, I got my space heater on, but I think it's woefully underpowered for heating this size of a space. I may have to get one of the propane ones, but I'm a little afraid it's going to be too loud. So what am I talking about today? So today I wanted to revisit Sillem's Black. So I have mentioned this in a previous video. I've had this tin for probably about 3 months. That is open, but that's part of the story. And I bought it probably in August, like July, August, something like that, I think. No, not that quite. Maybe August. Yeah, August, I think. And the plan was to save it because it was, I don't know, it just sounded fall-y to me. So I was like, oh, that might make a good fall review video. So here it is, we're in fall. Normally I don't look at reviews or anything, but, okay, so I'll back up a little bit. You know how tins, you know, it's a vacuum seal, right? And you don't want to open it, because once you open it, then you have to put it in a jar. So I thought I'd just leave it in the tin until I was ready in November, and then I would open it up, smoke some, put it in a jar until it was good. Anyway, in looking up some of the reviews for this, because I really wanted to remind myself of what the character was of it, I read somewhere where it basically provided a warning. It said, you know, definitely put this in a tin as soon as you get it, or put it in a jar as soon as you get it. And I was like, I wonder why. And if you know these things, you can smell it through the tin because it's just a tea tin. There's no seal or anything. And inside of here was just a plastic baggie, like you would get. Not even a Ziploc bag. It was just a plastic bag folded over with a piece of tape on it. And I think when I told the story, it's been a few weeks. It's almost a month since I opened it. But when I went to take the bag out, I grabbed the tape where the tape was, and my thumb went right through the bag. The bag was so flimsy and frail and fragile. Like and by my thumb went right through it, I mean I didn't even apply pressure. I just touched it, and it cracked and fell apart. There were even little pieces of plastic I had to pull out of the tobacco itself. And of course, the tobacco was bone dry. So for the last month or so, maybe a little less than a month, I have been rehydrating it in a jar with one of the Bovita packs, if you're familiar with those. Basically, they're made for like cigars, but they can keep anything fresh, even, you know, fruits and vegetables or other things. So I don't know, it feels pretty good now. I packed it earlier. Mostly because it's cold and I didn't want to be fiddling out here with it with cold hands. But yeah, so disappointing. To me, that still just blows my mind that somebody over at the Sillem's company thought that would be a good idea to put it in not even an airtight bag, just a folded over plastic bag with some tape on it, inside this ostensibly gorgeous tin. This is cool. I might even keep this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I might keep it. This tobacco comes highly recommended. You'll see this everywhere, and it's often recommended as like baby's first English. Is the way I've kind of seen it communicated in so many words. I added the insult to it, so blame me for that. But, you know, like, you know, if you're not sure if you're going to like, you know, you've heard things about Englishes and you're not sure you're going to like it, try this one because it's like a soft introduction to Englishes. Now, I don't know what they bill this as. It doesn't really say. There really isn't much on the tin at all, to be honest, unless it's under this label and I just can't see it. But, yeah, it doesn't say anything. It's definitely got latakia in it. Latakia, whatever you call it, because, you know, you can smell it through the tin. It's very smoky. But I would categorize this just as an aromatic with latakia, latakia. I don't know why you would call it anything else because it is very aromatic. I wish I even knew what kinds of tobacco are in this. I really couldn't tell you. It definitely looks like there's Cavendish in there, maybe Bright Virginia, and there's obviously latakia in there. There may be other stuff, I don't know. But there is absolutely topping and probably also casing on this. There's no way there's not. As soon as you open that tin, open that bag, open your jar, whatever you got, you are immediately punched in the face. First by smoke, but then by baking spice. And very, very specifically, I think clove. If you've ever smoked a jar, you know, the clove cigars, or, well, it used to be cigarettes, and they changed it to cigars. Or if you've ever baked or cooked anything with any amount of clove in it, you know that smell. And even if you haven't, you know, you're not sure you've ever encountered clove before, if you've ever, like, chewed bubble tape or, what's the stuff that used to be like chewing tobacco that you would buy, but it was bubble gum for little kids? Oh my gosh, what was that stuff called? Big Bubba, Hubba Bubba, any kind of bubble gum. That's what this smells like. It smells like bubble gum, in the best way, in a really good way. You do get other baking spices. I think specifically probably nutmeg and a little cinnamon. But you also get, honey is a hard thing to smell, but there's no way there's not honey on this. This is why I say it's probably also got some casing. There's definitely honey in here. I think we'll see. I haven't tried this yet, so I'm kind of excited. I have it in my Saint Nick. It seems apropos being cold, but I have two 320 KS's, and this one is my aromatic, and my other is my basically non-flavored or case topped. So I use it for anything, anything other than aromatics, basically. So I'm gonna. So it's. I spent about 3 weeks drying it. It was paper dry. I mean, I could crumble it, in my hand like this, and it would just not powder, but you know what I mean, like crumble into nothing. It's much, much better now. Like I said, it's been about 3 weeks, which is probably even overkill for one of those bovitas. But I still wouldn't classify it as wet, but it's delicate. At least it's moist and pliable and friable, and I'm just hoping it's wet enough. But we'll see. It still smells as pungent as ever. Might be too windy out here for my... Sitting just above the space heater, about it closer. So right away, I would say, and it may be just a consequence of my tin being bad, but its bark is much worse than its bite. It's very, very fragrant and pungent in the tin, but once it's in the pipe and you got it lit, it's not lighting very well. hoping I didn't get it too wet. Much better. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, you get the smoke first and foremost. Uh, but that, I think, thank goodness that bubblegum flavor is gone. You really smell it, but you don't really taste it. I should say you still taste the clove, but you don't taste bubblegum. It's something about the heat. Pretty much what happens when you bake it also. Sort of transmutes the flavor into something, heats the oils up and transmutes it into something a little more palatable. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Really different. Like a sort of like a spice bread. It reminds me a little bit of this time of year, apple spice donuts that you always get with apple cider. Um, that's really not apt though because there isn't much of a fruitiness to it. I'm getting almost no Virginia, even though I saw it in the bowl, and I'm getting more Cavendish. I think I would love to know if there's actually Cavendish in there because it's got a nice, smooth, round, sweet kind of flavor. I think that yellow. It looked like bright Virginia. If there is bright Virginia in it, I think it's probably adding a tiny bit of citrus. Maybe that's what I'm detecting with the apple. A little bit of brightness, but not that grassy, hay, um, bright citrusy kind of stuff that you usually get with it. There might be red Virginia, but I'm still not sure. But if I get anything, it's Cavendish and the latakia. But there is honey for sure. I taste honey anyway. Um, Floral, um, sweet, and that I don't know how else you describe honey as honey. Tell you what this reminds me of in terms of overall smell. Christmas time. Uh, you're at a festival. Maybe it's a cultural festival. The German spiced nuts, the candied nuts that come in the little uh, sort of candy or like ice cream cone shaped bag that's twisted off at the top, and they're all sticky, gooey, caramely, spiced. There's some of that, just honey instead of caramel, maybe. I think that's what I'm picking up there. And you know what? I think Sillems is a German company. I bet that's what they were going for when they made this. This tastes sort of like honeyed, candied, spiced nuts, almonds, pecans. Not so much pecan. That would be pretty immediately detectable, I think, but. Yeah, that's pretty good. I might have to check and get like a fresh tin of this in the future. Uh, Another description might. What I was going for with the apple donut was something like quick bread. If you're from New England, like brown bread, like the canned brown bread with all the spices and stuff in it. Uh, I would say like banana bread, but it's probably more like zucchini bread. It doesn't have that really banana. There's no banana flavor, I don't think. Uh, well, that's what I would like. I love like Jamaican rum with that funky banana thing in there. I would love to see a Jamaican rum tobacco that really carries that flavor. Ooh, that would be good. If you know of something like that, let me know. I'd be interested. Ooh, I'm still worried. It's kind of neutral. It's not tasting at all like what I expected. It seems muted, and I'm just wondering if some of that flavor died with the air. Um, this makes your tongue tingle. I know it's not hot. Nothing about anything out here right now is hot. Uh, yeah, this is pretty cool. I actually, now that I'm smoking this, I don't know how aromatic it really is, to be honest. Uh, it's very pungent from the tin is very aromatic. The tin note is very aromatic. One thing I always recommend too, if you're curious what the room note smells like with this, smoke this, fill the room with the smoke. You know, smoke it for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then leave for like 45 seconds to a minute. You know, go to the bathroom. Uh, Go make yourself a cup of tea or something in the microwave and come back and smell the room when you come back. That's your room note. It's hard to get a room note when your face is right in it. Uh, yeah, I could get down on this. I don't know if I would buy it all the time. It does come in these ginormous tins. They give you tons of it. I had to put it in a bigger jar than normal. I have one of these Kirby lighters. I'll maybe do a longer video on this. The only problem with them is that they just don't work outside. Even in my garage with my space heater on, that little poof of air from the space heater is enough to put them out. Uh, but otherwise, I really like it. It lights like a dream. That's one thing I like. My Zippo is a little unreliable in that sense. But it's cool. I'll talk about it in another video probably. So, warning to all, when you buy this stuff, if you've never bought it before, if you bought it before, you know what I'm talking about already probably, or just got very lucky. Because who knows how long these tins sit, in a warehouse. This stuff is pretty popular though, so I always imagine they sell out of it pretty quick. There's like a purchase limit on some websites. I don't see a born on date. Dang you. Yeah. Unless it's in the barcode somewhere, but you know what? This says imported by Sutliff. I didn't check that. Yikes. But yeah, if you buy this and you've never bought it before, as soon as you get that sucker, I would open it up and put it in a tin or put it in a jar. Man, I'm gonna keep saying that. Put it in a jar because Yeah, mine was in there for a little over a month, I think, and it was already toast. And I'm doing my best to bring it back, but yeah, who knows? I think this is definitely like a should try. If you're into aromatics and not into Englishes and you want to, I think that's a pretty apt description for this. You want to experience latakia, but you don't want to go all in on, no flavoring or anything. Uh, yeah, this is probably for you. And I would say if you're an English smoker, and you want something a little more fun than your average, uh, you've got something here. I have not smoked a ton of Englishes. I think one thing you'll learn from these videos, if you haven't picked it up already, I'll have to tell my story someday, but like, I really haven't smoked a lot. I have been smoking a pipe for over 18 years at this point, maybe 19 or 20. Uh, Off and on sometimes, whether I had money to do it or not. Uh, but I always had pipes. My local tobacconist, I moved and couldn't really buy it several times just because of where I was and how much money I had. Particularly for the 3 or 4 years I lived in Boston. But once I moved back to Dayton, I did live in Dayton, Ohio for a little while. I do not live in Dayton now. I started smoking again, my pipe again, and pretty much have ever since then. But the only tobacconist I would ever buy was one particular tobacconist, and I always bought from magazines at the time. Um, because when I lived in Dayton, I didn't know of any tobacconists at the time, and I really wasn't internet savvy back then, or at least I didn't buy a lot on the internet, mostly because I mostly spent cash. Um, so I'd either get things via a magazine, where I could just call them and give them my bank account number, or or write a check or whatever, or I would get it from the local tobacconist. And the tobacconist that I always went to only had Peterson stuff, and Dunhill. Only the round European tins, Dunhill and Peterson. So back then the Peterson line was all the like flat colored ones, the like your Hyde Park, your Dublin, the whiskey one. You know what I'm talking about. Those that line, the University Flake, stuff like that. So I've tried all of those, pretty much many times. And in terms of the Dunhill stuff, before the Dunhill stuff became the Peterson stuff, I actually looked this up and figured out what it was. It was in a red tin, and it said Dunhill on it, and I think it was yellow letters, maybe white or yellow. But I had to look this up online. It was Dunhill Original Mixture. Uh, Man, I smoked that crap out of that stuff. I have no idea what was in it. I should have looked up what was in it, but I did finally figure out that's what it was. And I have probably smoked the Peterson Hyde Park mixture more than any other tobacco I have combined. Every other single tin or multiple tins that I've ever smoked, I've probably I don't know, in the last 18 years, probably 30 tins of that stuff. Which for some of you guys it's probably not, but I didn't smoke a ton back then. But yeah, I love Hyde Park mixture. I haven't smoked it in a long time. I probably should just get a tin of it for old time's sake. But yeah, that Dunhill original mixture, I don't think you can get that anymore. I don't think that's one of the ones that Peterson picked up. Yeah. So like a million years ago, I had smoked nightcap and morning pipe, and I'm trying to remember the name of the Peterson one. I can see it in my brain. It's in a blue, like a dark blue tin. I don't think it's University Flake. It's not that one. I think it's just Dublin. I think it's like Dublin Mixture or Dublin Blend or something like that. That one, I haven't smoked that one in ages. But more recently, all these the old ones have a couple of them. Awakened Elder, and then what's the other one? From Beyond. That one. I just smoked that one last night. That's pretty good. Both of those are really good. That's cool. Anyway, that's Stillem's Black. As much as I enjoy this, I'm really wishing I had got a better tin so that I could get a better read or feel for it. I am intrigued though. If this is what it is, it's still pretty good. You know, I might get this every once in a while, and by once in a while, maybe once a year around this time of year. Sadly, I think I'm probably just going to smoke through this to get rid of it. I don't think I'll bother putting it in the basement. It would probably just lose even more of its flavor if I had to guess. But I don't know. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is probably a quick one. I know I ramble, so thanks for hanging out with me. And if you made it to the end, cool. I made it. I made it here too. We made it together. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.